All right, swinging around the corner here to the Family Mart bench. Hey, no one's there. I think I'll sit down for a second. I want to share with you an interesting deja vu moment that I had yesterday. I was coming along the street, going the other way, this one right over here, and my wife's uncle's house is just up there. And as I crossed in front of their place, I looked over and I saw a little van, the type of van that tends to old people, with wheeling an old person out, an old woman out of the car into a wheelchair to put her in the house, to deposit her in the house. And I had this sudden flash of deja vu, because I remembered that when I first started coming to Japan, when I first became a part of the family here, that household had the matriarch, the grandmother, there, and I used to go visit, and she would be there, and she would be this very old, frail old woman, always sitting in the corner. She eventually died, as you do, and we had the ceremony for her, etc. And I was like, what? She's back. What? And then I realized, oh my gosh, that can't be possible, because she died decades ago. And I realized, oh my gosh, it's her daughter-in-law, the oldest son's wife, who has now taken up that role of the wizened oldster, sitting in the corner quietly with the reaper on the way, who I remember as being the matriarch, and then not the matriarch, but the mother of the house at the time. There was the mother and then the wizened old matriarch, right? And now she's become the wizened old matriarch. And I realized this, and then suddenly an image came on my mind of waves crashing on the beach, or gentle waves, just every so often, every 3 seconds, whoosh, whoosh, and each one of those waves is that generation declining and falling away, as we do. And sobering thought, it's obvious thought, but then I had to remember who's next in the crash. It's me and my wife. We're next up. Okay, time to begin this walk in earnest. Let's get going. Every morning as I walk these streets of Kusanagi, I always spot in this tower. This is the same tower that shows up in my Mount Fuji videos. That one light on in that corner unit there. There's lights above on those two units as well, but the one on the right here, it's always got that fluorescent burning. Oh yeah. Getting to become a familiar thing. All right, I'm at Lawson. Got my morning shot. Gonna sit up here in my little spot. I think I'll do a live for half an hour or so. Just bring people up to date on the live for setting. My friend, the person that's sometimes here drinking copiously in the early morning isn't here with his minus 198, 196s. So I'll just sit here, talk to all of you via live. Here we go. Fuji this morning. Classic winter Fuji. Beautiful. Well, we're at the park. I'm back and we're taking the dogs out. He hasn't walked yet. It's too cold. It's, as Yumiko likes to say, Nido, which is 2 degrees Celsius, which is just above freezing. It's so cold. This boy won't wear a sweater, so he has to bundle up inside my shirt until I get him to the top of the park, and then he'll walk back, and then he'll do his business on the way back. Miko and Ollie are doing their thing back there. Today we're taking Dad to the eye clinic downtown, so we'll drive him downtown. They have a parking lot there. Usually it's a pretty long wait, so Dad's at seeing the doctor. Yumiko and I will walk to the Sonova area downtown, maybe get a cup of coffee or something like that, and just hang out a little bit before we come back. I'm also going to do some work on ChatGPT, on some of my custom GPTs when I get back, after Yumiko makes breakfast. we'll then schedule the day and head out from there. Yeah, we reach the top of the park, and we can start our thing. I'm gonna try to do a pull-up real quick. Here we go. It's absolutely delightful park. These mothers, these young mothers, just a little older than my own daughter, having a nice time with their children here. There's really no one here, just a couple of old people and mothers with their babes. Yumiko's with her father at the clinic over there, and so rather than hang out inside and take up an extra chair, they need all the chairs they can get, I come out here to the park to enjoy this absolutely splendid weather. And I wanted to make a comment about an observation about the impermanence of good health relative to how we engage with life. My father-in-law, when I arrived a month ago, just a little over a month ago, was still driving. He had a minor accident, a fender bender, which prompted him to realize that it was time for him to stop driving. And I really wanted to just remark about how in the 3 weeks or so since he stopped driving, he's declined noticeably. Like, I can't imagine him possibly driving now. He can barely get into the car. Now maybe that's coincidental with just the normal decline that's occurring. Maybe it's rapid by other means, but awfully coincidental with the getting rid of his car. Literally, I mean, he had to pay someone to come and take the car away. It's a cautionary tale for me to think about as I proceed through this life change of retirement, and I think about as I relinquish responsibilities and privileges, what impact those might have on me as well, and by extension to anybody who retires or who goes through a change or who gives up various things in life that keep them active and engaged. I'll go back to my little seat here in the park, enjoying the wonderful weather. Just no wind, just the slightest. And carry on with what I'm doing, enjoying the day, waiting for my family to need me. But you know what? I'm not going to wait to be needed. I'm going to find ways to be useful. Along this little street here, there's a little kid thing here. You see these all over Japan, and it's warning motorists to watch out for kids as they go. But I've never seen one holding an app, I guess. That's interesting. And very handy. I mean, very good for keeping kids safe. We're getting lunch today from this little bento shop. This is in an old part of town. And these old bento shops are really good. You can get really good value. I don't want to get people's face in the video. And really good food, really like $5, $4.50 for a really good bento. We'll head on, grab Dad and get on home. But it's pretty crowded, starting to get crowded around noon. There's a smoking area just on the side of the road here. Where people can come. Oh, sun's. Here's our lunch today. It's a 650 yen 4-piece karage lunch with 70 yen, I think it was, for a little more rice. 50 yen. So 650, so 700 yen. About $5. Really amazing. And they cooked it to order just right there. So it's got 4 pieces of karage and cabbage, which is extra expensive right now. Cabbage, that is. Some spaghetti with some black noodly things. Rice, a little bit of a slice of orange, and some potato salad. Yumiko's got something with fish similar. Dad's got the same thing as Yumiko. And then Yumiko's making tea. That's our lunch. Well, it looks like this is the end. Remember this beautiful farmhouse that we talked about before? I showed you how it was coming to an end. There was nothing being done with the land. I was wondering what was happening. Looks like they've begun the process of taking it down. Goodbye, old farmhouse. This is what you get when you buy a modern house. Okay, just had a really good dinner. Yumiko made a nice nabe meal that always makes me feel better. I'm not feeling good. Yumiko's not feeling good either. We may have picked up whatever the family had in the course of hanging out with them, taking them to the doctor and, looking after them, which is, to be expected, right? Sickness goes around. So I'm going to cut this one short tonight. Real quick, Good Life meditation, an exercise that I do every day to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are all in my book, Going Alone. I also use the time to think about the last 24 hours, how I did with the challenges and the opportunities that I met. I plan for the coming day and I prepare myself for death. First, last night and yesterday, I slept good. Got up usual time, right around 4 a.m. Had a good, ambitious, nothing last night to speak to. No particular challenges yesterday. No particular opportunities. It's just, we're like just kind of, right, the last couple of days we're just kind of coasting. We've been so busy. We've just been doing the routine, taking care of the family and doing this responsibilities. And it's amazing how, I've said it before, I don't know how we were able to fit two full-time jobs into our life before, and a daughter. How did we do that? I will tell you this, I'm keenly, and I've said this several times, that I'm keenly sensing the vacuum absence of work beneath my feet. It's like someone pulling the Wile E. Coyote stepping out over the cliff and suddenly realizing he's hanging in midair, suddenly realizing there's nothing supporting him, and the impending vacuum draw down, the gravity well fall. I feel that. I'm really pleased, if I do say so myself, with the way I just described that. It feels like an impending fall if I'm not careful, and I was really keenly aware of it today. Yumiko was out shopping, and I took the dogs for a walk, and I was at the park, and I saw at least 2 or 3 older men, one in particular that really struck me, that seemed to be on that old man autopilot walk. And I'm becoming that species. And you know what? That may be okay, but I'm not ready. I'm not ready to fall into the gravity well. I've got stuff, even though my life's work is complete, I have stuff that I want to make good use of time. I've got to work on this. I've got to think about this. I'm not over with living a virtuous life, doing things to help improve things. Most of all, namely, is the sharing of the message in my book, Going Alone. And I did today, for example, in Discord, there's a section in there for questions, and the group is having really interesting conversation on the business, on the purpose on the work side of things. Got interesting people mid-age, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s and 60s. We've got a whole range covered, and we're having interesting discussions about life and work and settling, etc. Good discussion. Come join us if you like. There's a link, if you see this on YouTube, down in the Discord. There's a link in every venue I share this down to the Discord server. It should be a permanent link. It should work. If it doesn't work, send me an email, dinnerbytheriver@gmail.com, and I'll send you a link. All are welcome. Just be nice. My 8 objectives of the creed are to be always ready to die, to make good and effective use of time, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, to cultivate good emotional reactions, to perform good actions, to recognize my true limits and true opportunities, to do just one thing at a time and do the thing slowly and deliberately and carefully, and to keep my balance. Am I ready for death? My affairs are in order, especially now. Well, I still haven't done that thing with Yumiko to get it all set up on her phone for the finances. It's one thing to have it all set up, a whole apparatus there, but it's another thing to teach her to use it all. So many things. There's always something to do. So I need to do that ASAP, right away. Oh, I did. We got the final numbers yesterday from the realtor for all the final costs for everything for the house. I'm going to break that down. I'll probably share that in tonight's post. That'll be the substance of the post tonight, is a breakdown of our house costs. I'll use the conversion rate that we got for the first transfer. I think it'll be roughly the same. We'll do the next transfer in 2 days. That'll be the last transfer. Are my relationships sound? Well, my mom keeps sending me these nasty dispatches, so I wouldn't call that sound, but there's nothing I can do about it. She's always done that. Before the age of internet, it was nasty letters, and now it's nasty email. I shouldn't talk that way about my mom. I'm speaking frankly because it's a great challenge for me to figure out how to reconcile that. How do you? And can I say that my relationship is sound with my mom when that is the case? I think I can, to the extent that I can say that I've exhausted every means that I can think of to remedy that relationship without success ever since I was in my early teens. 60 now.
And that's not going to happen. All I can do now is keep the line of communications open so that when she falls down and breaks a hip or whatever the case may be, I can get on a plane and go over and look after her, in whatever way is necessary. And she'd be grateful that I'm retired and I have the means that I can do that, and without a significant impact. So just stand ready for it. Keep those emails, let those emails keep coming. Read every one of them that she writes. Keep them, hold on to them, because I may need them in the future. If I'm going to make a case to, for her good, take care of. I'm saying way more than I should in a video like this, but you get the point, right? It's part of a grown child's duty to look after their parent in every capacity. That is my game. I will fulfill my duty, come heck or high water, whether she likes it or not. I imagine it won't. So I think my relationship is as sound as it can be. Is my life's work complete? Well, my book is written and my daughter is raised, but I just said a moment ago that I have more to do. What is that thing that I want to do? I want to share the message of going alone. I want to help make people's lives better by virtue of not pleading to the stars for guidance or for help or supplicating to the unknown mysteries of the universe, but to abiding the sound dictates of reason, developing tools of mind to live well and to live in a manner in accordance with the realities of the world that we've ascertained, to develop objectives that are in accordance with living a good life as we've determined and defined through study and deep thought, and then principles to guide us along the way. That's what I want to do. So I'll finish with that. Closing for now. I wish you all the best. Be safe. Oh, that's not what I'm going to close with. I'm going to close this with: life is hard. Retirement is brief. Death is forever. Take care.